Hey, you're hanging out in the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason.
And I'm Donna Ruppel. Around here, we believe success isn't just about what you know, it's about who you link up with. This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Donna, it blows my mind that the two of us have over 30 years of combined networking experience.
I know! We've built businesses, expanded networks, and created unstoppable momentum, all through the power of strategic connections.
AKA networking. And now we're here to guide you to do the same, starting today.
So let's dive in, connect, and start making moves you didn't even know were possible.
Welcome back to the Link Up Lounge. I'm Tiffany Mason with Virtually You, the boutique podcast management agency, and I'm here with my co-host, Donna Ruppel, your Nocatee real estate expert.
This is your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities. And today we're talking about why you have to take action, because connections don't build themselves. Dreaming is great, but relationships grow through action, not intention. It's easy to make mental lists of people you want to connect with, but nothing happens until you reach out.
That's right. You don't build a network by thinking about it. I know I've tried to do that. It's not a good strategy. You build it by doing it. Often it starts with the smallest of steps.
Yes, today we're challenging you to turn what you know into what you do, because one small action can spark a huge opportunity.
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about imperfect action. I build my business on always encouraging my clients with action brings clarity. I tell them that all the time. So sometimes we overthink this networking thing, right? We're waiting for the perfect message or the perfect timing. We want to encourage everyone just to go, take the action, go network. We always think about worst case scenario, but I want to challenge you to reframe that thinking. What awesome connections could you make? So I shared on here. Oh, maybe I didn't share on here. Okay, so I had to go to this event by myself, which I was expecting to go with somebody else. And at the last minute, I just had to go by myself. And I could have gone and been like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a loser at this event with nobody else to adult with. But instead, like something just kept telling me like, I don't know, this is going to be awesome. Something cool is going to happen, whatever. And then I want to partner that with this other song that I heard of long time ago. CMT used to have like next country music star or next Nashville star. I can't remember what it was called. But this girl, Melissa, came up and she sang this song, What If It All Goes Right? And it's talking about like, you know, we're always thinking, what is the worst case scenario? Like, I'm not confident in my message, or what if I don't meet anybody, or what if there's nobody to collaborate with, or what if nobody talks to me? But what if, you guys, what if it all goes right? What if you go and you end up meeting somebody and all these amazing connections? Like, how could your business grow from some networking? Trust from others and comfortability gets built when you show up consistently, not perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many times where I see a networking event come across my, social media or email or wherever. And I think, ooh, that sounds like a great event. I'm going to go to that. I put it in my calendar. And then when the time comes, this happened recently, when the time comes, I'm like, why did I put that in my calendar? I don't want to go to that. I'm too busy this week. I have too much going on. And, I think about canceling, and then I'll look at the event again. And like recently I realized, oh no, this is being put on by people I really want to support. So I'll show up just for a little bit, to show support. And then you walk in and it turns out that, I made a bunch of really great connections. I met some really cool people. I had some great conversation, and I didn't leave, as soon as I thought I would, because it turned out to be super valuable. So sometimes, the action might be getting off the couch and getting to the event, even when you don't want to go because, your life is busy, or you're not sure if you're not going to know anybody, or you're not sure if this is going to be worth your time, or you just don't even want to put on clothes that are appropriate for networking. Yes. I get it. So sometimes we get surprised about the actual event.
I know. I always try to say yes. Like when I see things or when people invite me, yes, 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 yes. And then I always, not always, but a majority of the time, I would say I do regret it on my calendar. And then I get there and I'm like, oh no, this was such a solid choice. I'm so glad I'm here.
Yeah, like I'm so glad I
love people, and I'm such an extrovert, and I feed off of other people's energy. And so I show up. Even yesterday, some of you may know that I was a little under the weather. last week. And so I was like, oh, our networking group had an in-person. And I was talking to one of the members and she's like, well, you're not coming tomorrow, are you? And I said, well, yeah, I was going to show up. And then I thought about it and I was like, maybe I need to rest. Maybe I shouldn't be using my energy for that. And I thought, no, it's so good for my soul. It's so good for me just to see people. Like
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you can sit at home, your kids go to school, right? And they're like, oh, I have a headache. And you're like, well, just go to school and try. And if you don't feel better, I'll pick you up from school. And then they get there and you get distracted and you feel great. And so I think it's the same thing with networking. Sometimes we have these things on our calendar and we go, oh, I don't know. And then we show up and we're like, huh, okay, I'm glad I
Yeah.
did that. And I remember leaving yesterday feeling the same way. Like, no, I'm glad I went. It was so good for my soul just to see my tribe, see my people, and get thinking about business again. And I think that's another thing too, is it's easy to be in a slump or not taking those actions. And then you do take a few of those actions and you're like, oh yeah, it's not so scary. It's not so overwhelming. It's not so intimidating. It's
Yeah.
actually very rewarding. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's so funny because you see it on your calendar and you're like, ugh. But then when you power up, it's always like, oh, yay. I mean, I'm so glad I went, I
Yeah.
can't say there's ever been an event that I've gone to where I'm like, why did I waste my time getting dressed for
No.
this? No.
No.
No. No.
Nope.
So
No,
it's
I agree
always
with that.
good. Get up and go. But really, we were going to talk about building the connection after you've gone to the event. We segue into getting off the couch to go to the event, but we were going to talk about after you went to the event. So just what you said, like the message does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be the most magically written message. It just needs to be real. And that, I think, is going to differentiate somebody in and of itself, because a quick thinking of you, saw this and thought of you is often kind of all it takes to keep the connection alive and real, referencing a conversation, a part of the conversation you had at the event, or if you both talked about a common interest that has nothing to do with your business and talking about that in your note. We just overthink, well, I'm not sure what exactly I'm supposed to say in follow up. And we overthink it, and then it becomes too late. Like, then it's like a week after the event, you're like, well, now it's stupid for me to say, it was nice meeting you or whatever.
Yeah.
And we talk ourselves out of it. So keeping the connection alive and keeping the connection real is how you're going to continue to build an actual relationship and part of your network.
Yeah, I would agree with that. One of our members actually, she's so great to just like randomly drop things in the mail. Like we've known her for a long time. And then something comes in the mail to me and it's such like so encouraging. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I keep them. They're little, just like a little card that she drops every once in a while. And I was getting ready to travel and I needed a bookmark. And I was like, what could I use for a bookmark? And I was sifting through and I was like, this chick is so classy. Like, I wish I had these little cards and the ambition to mail out this little handwritten message, with this card with this great little affirmation on it. But it really did make me feel super special in the moment. And I think that that's what we're talking about is how do you genuinely connect, right? How do you make that real connection? And this is something we want to do after our networking events, but it's also something we want to do to nurture our networking relationships that we currently have. Okay, so let's say that you just went to the event, maybe this event that you went to the other day. How could you connect with those people? You could take 3 simple actions. Here's a couple ideas. Okay. You could send a follow-up to someone that you met recently. You could drop a thank you note to someone who helped you out, or you could invite someone to coffee, virtual or in person. So I know there was someone in our group and she wanted everybody to experience her services. So she said, everybody come out, you can have a service, whatever. And I already knew that I liked her, but we just had so much fun laughing and everything through that service that I was like, I just want to spend time with her. I just want to like get to know more about her. I just want to be in her presence. And so I did. I invited her the next day and I said, hey, I had a really great time yesterday. I'm curious if you'd be interested in doing a collaboration over lunch. Like when could we meet? When could we do something, to touch base? Because I don't know. I guess I just have a genuine curiosity about people. Like our life experiences really shape the way that we react to things and the ambition that we have and the things that we want to do. And I think when you get to know who the person is, it's easier to make that follow up to someone that you met. It's easier to drop that thank you note. It's easier to invite them to coffee. if you have that genuine interest and you're just genuinely trying to build a relationship with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think that any kind of small gesture that you make, whether it's a simple, hey, it was nice to meet you, or a thank you note, or an invite to coffee or lunch or whatever. I think that the small gestures, even mailing those fun little affirmation notes, I know exactly what you're talking about because I have one in my desk drawer. Um,
And isn't it interesting? Neither one of us tossed it,
I know. I still have it because I'm like, oh,
right?
this is
Like a
so cute.
birthday card, sorry, but that does go in the garbage.
Right. I
But
know. I
that
know.
little note, like, she took time to write and, like, it made me feel so special, and I cherish it, and it goes in
I
my
know.
desk.
I know, it's
Yeah.
so great. So,
Mhm.
all of these small gestures stack up. I mean, you never know which message will lead to a collaboration or remind them of you just in time for a referral or some sort of new opportunity. I mean, every connection needs a spark, and the spark is the action you put into it. So, you have to put the action behind meeting somebody. You have to continue to foster that connection. You have to continue to stoke the fire, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah. I know we talked in the past about how good it feels for us to connect other people. And so I have been connected with somebody about their podcast. I mean, a podcast ended up being kind of a part-time job. And so when people start the podcast, they think, oh, it's going to be great. I'm going to get my message out. And then they realize, like the editing and the publishing and the show notes and all the things that go with it. And that's where I come in. But I had somebody connect me with a person with a podcast. And when I talked to her last, her family had like some bug going around. So I just kind of let it simmer. And then I got to thinking, the person in our networking group is so excited to have made the connection. She's always like, oh, did you talk to that person yet? Oh, did you talk to that person yet? And I'm like, if she asks me one more time and I say no, I'm going to feel terrible. So I reached out to her recently and I was like, hey, before she asks me if you and I have talked again, I would just want to drop you a line and see where you're at with the podcast and what's going on exactly. And she said, it's something I would look forward to in January, which I understand all of our mindset going into the holidays. Like, it's going to be busy, it's going to be crazy, but also it's just take the messy action. Just take the action, like with networking, just take the action with your
Yeah.
podcast. It was great to have a conversation. And actually, it's kind of leading to where it could potentially happen sooner, where I'm like, hey, sometimes people think that we all have these misconceptions of how much something costs, right? Like, I don't actually really know what it costs to hire a realtor. I don't know what the commissions are. I feel like it's 2% or 5%, or I don't even know. I'm just
Let's
picking
go with
numbers.
5%. Let's just call it that.
Let's call it 10.
Yeah, let's do. That's totally on like multi-million-dollar properties. Let's call it 10%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 10% on multi-million-dollar properties. So I just dropped her a line and said, hey, just so you know, this is the ballpark. This is what's going on. But it was great to rekindle that relationship, to reach out, to connect with her. But it's because of the one person that keeps following up with me. And
Yes.
it's like, she almost cares more about my business than I do. So that makes me feel good too.
Yes, absolutely. I know. The follow-up part, it's funny because my husband recently went to an event and he came home with a whole bunch of business cards and excited about some people that he met. And then, the crafting of the follow-up message. And at the end of the
Mm.
day, I was like, just send it, whatever, just send it because so many people are not going to actually send a follow-up message that you're going to differentiate yourself just by doing
Right.
that.
Right.
Just by doing that. So
Yep.
then, the follow up of what's the next step? What's the next thing
Right.
you can do in this relationship? Invite them
Right.
to a networking event maybe that you saw. Or I always feel like that one is like an easy one. Like, oh, I
Oh,
met you and
yeah.
you like networking. Like, hey, I saw this event. I don't know if you're interested, but I'm going. Like that's easy because you're not trying to sell your business to them. You're really
Right.
just inviting them to another networking thing that they may be interested in. And it's super easy without feeling like you have to be salesy or pressury or anything like that, because we never want to be that.
Well, I know how I would feel if you reached out to me. I would feel flattered. Like, oh, you liked our interaction enough when we were networking that now you want to hang out with me at another networking event. Like I came to mind when you wanted to go to this event.
Right. Yes. And it's funny because with Bond and Beyond, we have so many people who have come into one of our groups and then for whatever reason, they have left one of our groups, right?
Yeah.
And some of those people, you and I never really may meet face to face. And
Right.
I went to this networking group and there was a couple of them actually there that had come in and then since left. And it's so funny because when I was introduced as, oh, this is Donna with Bond and Beyond, I could see their facial expression almost like, uh-oh, like she's going to try and convince me to come
No.
back or she's mad at me or so. I don't know. It's like a facial expression that comes over
Yeah.
them.
Little doom.
Yeah, yeah, totally, totally. So, it's funny
She
because
found us.
I know. It is funny. It's like, dude, everybody is different. Things work in your life
Right.
at different times and you value different things. And I am not going to judge you on this.
Correct.
But I actually at this one event, there was two women there that were past members. And one of them, both of them, I saw the dread on their face when they realized who I was. But one of them in particular, I said, "Oh my gosh, I know exactly what you do and what your business is because your social media is all over my feed. And you do such a good job with your social media because I know exactly who you are and what you do and what your business name is. And wow, good job. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
said, "Do you do that yourself?" And she's like, "I do." And she was like, "Thank you so much. I really appreciate that compliment." Like she was really like,
Mm.
and then she wanted to introduce me to other people and she was like, "Oh, do you know so and so because she's really great." And so, it's funny because the power of a compliment, and I was being genuine, like she is all
Right,
over
right,
my
right.
feed. I know
Yeah.
exactly what she does and she does a great job. But it is funny because the power of a compliment, even in a networking
Mm.
group or in a follow
Mhm.
up, like it
Mhm.
somehow breaks down, this weird barrier that sometimes you see. And even when it's somebody that maybe is in your own industry, like if you can give them a
Mm.
compliment, like, "Oh, I thought your marketing on this was really cool and innovative," then they're not going to think of you so much as competition, but maybe a collaborative partner, which I think is equally as important. We've talked about
Yeah.
this before, but when I go to a networking event, it's like, I'm probably not going to meet somebody who's like, "I want to buy a house tomorrow," or "I want to sell my house today." Right. So
Right.
a lot of times I look at what collaborative partners can I meet there. That's kind of how I go into to most networking groups. Like, what collaborative partners can I meet? So, it's easy to link realtors with mortgage people, but also like, home insurance and staging and interior design and handyman and, all these service providers, home inspectors, all these service providers that, people rely on, refer them to when they are your client. So think about who you could add to that portfolio of referrals for your clients because
Absolutely.
people will come to you as an expert and as an expert you should have a portfolio of referral business. And so taking action on building that is important as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you and I value so much, like, quote unquote, I got a guy. Like we love connecting people. So that's, an important aspect for us. And I think that we've talked before too, when you're networking, to think about peers, collaborative partners, mentors, that kind of thing. And I know in the podcasting space, it's really easy to be like, oh, I've listened to one of your episodes. I thought this was great when you pointed out X, Y, or Z. And I know a couple of other podcast managers, and I have subscribed to their podcast. And so they realize I'm not trying to be competition. I'm trying to
Right.
learn from you. And, I'm actually trying to get tips and tricks from you.
Right.
So it's not always, it's not always that we're looking to sell to somebody. It's not always that we're looking to collaborate with somebody. Sometimes you need to also be looking for those people that you can learn from, or that, if you're following her social media and let's say you guys did the same thing, what kind of tips could you pick up from what she's doing on social media that's grabbing your attention that you could, imitate? So, imitation is the best form of flattery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Imitate away, people.
Imitate.
Yeah. Yeah. This one's really short. But I
Maybe
mean,
we
it does go
recap.
back to,
Maybe we recap like, okay, so when we're talking about, taking action because connections don't build themselves, number one, take action to find the events and put them in your calendar. Number two, take action to get off the couch and actually go.
okay.
Uh, So So take action because connections don't build themselves. Taking action can mean something as simple as finding the event and putting it in your calendar, or getting off your couch and actually going to the event.
Do you want to make a little list for yourself on paper or something really quick?
I have the list in my head. It's just the
Okay.
transition in between. Yeah.
Okay.
So take action because connections do not build themselves. And that means the following, really. Number one, actually look for events that look exciting and interesting or hosted by people that you enjoy or places that you want to check out. Maybe you haven't gone
Yeah.
there before and you want to check it out. And so look for those kind of events. I was literally scrolling through Facebook events this morning looking for any new events that I wanted to attend. And then I click interested, I get the reminder, and then I look at it again, I put it in my calendar. All of that is important to take action. Look for these events, take action, put them in your
Yeah, I
calendar.
like the non-committal interested.
Right?
And
I
then
know.
it does remind you and you're like, okay, how interested am I? And you're like,
Right?
Okay. I'll get the
Yeah.
Eventbrite ticket or I'll,
Right.
RSVP or whatever.
Or I'll actually put it in my calendar. Do I
Yeah.
really want to put it in my calendar? Yeah. So then I put it in my calendar. And then number two is, show up, get off the couch, get dressed, show up with intention.
Do the thing, take the action.
Right. And then when you're there, take the action of meeting people, circling the room. I know it's not comfortable, but sometimes it's like, oh, I haven't met that person. Who is that? Or stepping into a group of people and, introducing yourself and asking, what do you do? I mean, that's what you're there for.
Man, and you
right?
just never know who knows who.
Right. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Gosh, that surprised me where I tell someone, they go, oh, you know who you need to know? And I'm like, no, who do I need to know?
Right? I know.
Right?
I know. Yeah, for sure. Like I was having a conversation with one woman and I was looking around for who's kind of the next group I should go approach. And I realized I've kind of met everybody who's here right now, except for this one woman. And I was like, do you know her? That's the one person I don't know. And she was like, oh yeah, let me introduce you. And she was all excited to introduce me to the woman. And the woman turned out to be fabulous. And we had a wonderful conversation. And so, go with the intention of meeting new people. Don't hang out with the people you know. That's easy and comfortable. Let's go with the intention of meeting new people, introducing yourself to everyone, talking to everyone. That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's why we're there,
Yeah.
right? You got dressed, you got off the couch, all the steps got you here. Let's make use of it. And then I would say the fourth thing is after the event, be sure and follow up. And then the fifth is to continue to follow up. Those are really the 5 things that you need to do to continue to build those connections and build your network.
I couldn't agree more, Miss Donna. All right, it's time to flip the switch to your networking mode on tip. Casual contact into that one step can turn a casual contact into a trusted collaborator. Networking mode on.
If this episode gave you the nudge you needed to take action, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of momentum. And if you know someone who keeps saying, I really need to reach out to blah, 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 then send them this episode. Let's help them turn intention into action. Let's keep building those powerful links together. You've been hanging out in the Link Up Lounge, your lounge for turning one link into endless opportunities.
Now it's your turn. Go make a powerful link today.
Networking mode on.